Good morning and welcome to Fen Tomato Farm. Today I'd like to show you one or two things where we are with the crop, but first a few tips. We're now in our third week of lockdown and I know we're all getting very itchy to jump into the garden, go and get the seeds out of the packet and go and get everything started to be growing. It's a little early at the moment because if you're going to plant outside with tomatoes, you should be looking to plant somewhere around the third week in May. Before then, you may get away with planting them a little earlier, but like tonight, there's going to be a frost, and for tomato plants, that's not good. We have here in our glass house, as we've explained before, 35 different varieties. In another video a little later on this week, I will explain to you the different varieties. I'll show you hopefully the end results, the pictures of the fruits, showing the fruits how they are developing. But today I'd like to show you how we now go for the second shooting of the crop. As you can see, we've put the strings up for the support, which is very important. You can put a cane in instead of having a string and a wire. You could have a small split cane, you could have it against a trellis, but the tomato plant, unless it's a bush tomato plant, needs support. So we use strings because we're growing ours in quite a long distance, a long way, and that's all for us so we can extend our season and give our customers lovely, organically grown, juicy tomatoes. One of the problems with growing tomatoes is that they throw many shoots out. There's the main stem. From the main stem you have a leaf. A leaflet will expand, it will need the nutrition, it'll need the right conditions, but then between the joint of the leaf and the stem comes a shoot. If we don't take that shoot away, that'll take power from not only the head and the growing point, but also the fruits. So we try to grow them on a one stem system. That's called a cordon system. And having a cordon system, we would grow one tomato plant with many trusses. But to aid us in our production, what we do here at Fen Tomato Farm, first of all, what we do is that we take an extra shoot, which is the first truss shoot. So we shoot all the plant up to the first truss, but leave the first shoot, and that then develops into another plant. But then above this we take all the shoots out. You can see there's one shoot been taken there, but there's one just there growing, and then there's another one growing. So they grow many shoots. First of all, we would wind the tomato plant, put in the string underneath the leaves for support. Should always wind the plant clockwise around the string. Reason being, the sun goes clockwise around and the plant then doesn't unwind itself from the string when it grows. So you've wound him up, he's nice and secure. Then we take the shoots out. You just pinch them out. We have a container to put our shoots in. See, look, this is a beef variety from Latvia called Latvian yellow. just one of the many varieties that we have here. So this one is the second truss shoot. I won't take that out, and because he's a little big, I won't leave two. What I will do, because he's a little bit bigger, I will take my knife and I'll cut him out, making sure that there's a nice clean cut. That'll dry up, and that'll mean that we've got no possibilities of any infection getting into the cut or the wound. The little shoots just break out. You want to see this? Look on this side shoot here. Look, we've got a side shoot there. You just get onto the side shoot nice and firm, and then you just tug on it and it comes away. Very simple. Look, there's another shoot there, and again, look, just break it off like that. And if you do your side shooting, tip number one, you do your side shooting first thing in the morning, then your shoots are a little snappy. If you do them in the heat of the day, they don't sort of break off as sharp as they should do. You tend to rag the stem. The skin has got a bit of a wound in it. That's how sometimes you can have disease or an infection get into the plant, because you've made a wound on the skin. So tip number one, always shoot in the morning, first thing. Tip number two, before you shoot, support the plant, because if you break the head of the plant, you always have then a shoot, an option to carry on and take the plant growing on further. So if you've broken the head out, it's not impossible for us to do that occasionally. Take this plant here, for example, this one. If I broke that head out there, I would take this strong shoot here. I would take that one up, and that would go up like that. And that would carry on, and that would help you to have many, many more tomatoes. Tip number three, don't put your plants or tomato plants outside until at least the third week in May. Third week in May is about the last or the latest time that there can be any damaging frosts or any damaging conditions. You may have some years that you could get away with that a little earlier, but if you're going to put them outside, the soil is cold, the plants don't like that. That's one of the reasons why these are all in grow bags, because the root temperature is very critical, very important at the start of the season, at the point when you're planting them. If you plant in the ground, it can be very cold, and then your plant picks up many, many diseases and many, many things because it's cold. Think of what you would like, and think of your plant being the same. You'd like a nice warm cup of tea or cup of coffee. Your plant doesn't like to have freezing cold water. It doesn't like to sit in freezing cold compost. Would you like to jump into your bed with no duvet and it's freezing cold? No, you'd like to jump into a nice warm snuggly bed. Same with the plant. Treat it as if it was your partner. Okay, tip number four. If you are supporting your plants with a string, what you shouldn't do is have the leaf trapped between the string or your support and the stem. That there is a no-no. That will cause botrytis on the stem. That'll start to rot your plant out. So keep the leaf well away from the stem of the plant. Don't trap any leaves between the string and the stem. That's tip number 4. For all those lucky people which have a small greenhouse in your garden, and you can be planting your plants in the early part of April, you'll have flowers open, and you'll have flowers open before a lot of the pollinators come out naturally in the outside. You'll need to pollinate your flowers. Now we have bees working for us. It's a little impossible for us to pollinate all the flowers, and so we employ not only bumblebees, but also we have honeybees on the farm, and they pollinate the flowers for us. You can do something similar about 11-12 o'clock in the daytime, when the temperature is starting to rise and it's nicely in the low 20s. You can get the flowers and you just flick the flowers like that. What that does, you have the flower. If you cut the flower in half, you will see the outside of the flower, and then in the center is the pistil. This is the pistil, the center bit of the flower. Now that's where the pollen is, and the pollen has to move from the outside of the pistil to the inside, to the stamen. When you move the pollen from the outside to the inside, the flower is pollinated. That's what the bees are doing. They are securing their self onto the flower. If you look very closely, you will see the bite marks on the flowers, and that's showing that they have visited the flower, and when they visit the flower we have small tomatoes. Obviously you can't employ bees, but in flicking the flowers once a day, every day, I say every day, but most days you should be flicking the flowers like that, just flicking the trusses like that. That will help for you to have tomatoes. So that's tip number 5. So there you have a few tips for today. There'll be more tips along the way, so keep watching us at Fen Tomato Farm, and hopefully there'll be another video at the end of the week explaining a little more in detail with the 35 varieties that we have grown here at Fen Tomato Farm. So bye for now, stay safe, and hope that we can see each other again later on. Take care.